Thank you very much. Thank you. Last cab off the rank, and I'd like to thank Pay Dirt for a fantastic conference. It's really gone splendidly, and it's a fantastic venue as well. But I'm going to talk a little bit more. We're moving around the world. We've heard about Australia this session. We've heard about Canada, Africa, and I'm going to move to Scandinavia. We're focused on a new mineral province, a new nickel-cobalt province in central northern Sweden, and we're not a listed company. We're about to list. We're undergoing an IPO, which we intend to list later in November, and we're raising between $10 and $12 million. We have a lot of information and our prospectus on our website, and if interested parties would like to visit that after the talk or in the future, please do. So I'm going to talk about our projects in northern Sweden. Our flagship deposits are called Lainejaur. You'll have all read the important disclosures and statements and disclaimers and all familiar with those. They're also on our website. But our flagship deposit, Lainejaur, is an important high-grade massive sulphide. It's had a bit of work done on it, but importantly, it's located in what's called the Skellefteå mining area. This is home of Boliden. It's been a mining province here for over 100 years, and Boliden, as you know, is one of Scandinavia's biggest miners. It's currently operated by operating 4 mines in the district. It's a mining area. It's in the southern part of northern Sweden, so it's really well located with considerable support for mining and new mine startups. Lainejaur is an old mine. We'll talk about that in a little detail. It has massive high-grade zones of polymetallic, as I said, quite strong nickel grades, but also what interests me is the cobalt. Some of my background has been cobalt, as some of you knew. I know that I was involved in the cobalt blue discovery of the Railway and Pyrite Hill deposits, and did a lot of the early work on there. And that really got me excited about finding cobalt in other parts of the world, because I knew it was fairly rare to find high-grade cobalt. And after several years looking in places like northern Canada and Africa and various parts of the world, I found that outside Central Africa there's not much in the way of cobalt, and the best grades we're going to find are going to be in nickel-cobalt deposits, and that's what one of the attractions here is that the cobalt content of this this deposit, but also a whole lot of deposits that we've got, as you can see on the map. There's 6 there. Number 1 is Lainejaur, but we also have what we call the quad deposits, and north of Lainejaur we have a deposit called Vostok, which is also, all of them have got very good high-grade nickel drill intersections at or near surface. Lainejaur is our flagship. It was an old mine in the 1940s. During the war it mined about 100,000 tonnes. It was a shallow mine, underground, but never went more than about 100, 150 metres deep, and it produced a nickel concentrate. And we have now secured not only the old mine working area, but the area surrounding the mine in a 40-odd square kilometres, and that's very important, as I'll touch on. It's located just within 10 minutes from Mala, and I say Mala because that's the headquarters of the Northern Division of the Geological Survey of Sweden, and they have all their infrastructure there. So the mining services, their archives, ALS Global have a core sample preparation lab there, and the community is really supportive of new mine developments. That's really important in any district. Our deposit's only relatively small, and I'll explain why. It's only 500,000 tonnes at the moment. It's open in almost all directions, down dip obviously mostly, but also along trend. The resource was put out several years ago, but 40-odd drill holes, core drill holes, and you can see there's some handsome intersections. Mostly though, the mineral horizon is only a couple of metres thick. And you can see the district on the map. There's 4 operating mines in that. Skellefteå's over on the right-hand side. There's a mixture of copper mines, some high-grade multi-metallic zinc copper lead silver mines, and they've been mining mostly underground, and some of these mines are 1.5 kilometres deep now and still operating at very low cost. Very amazing mining district. We have some really exciting drill core. These are the sort of intersections that we're getting. Blackstone Minerals completed most of the drilling here, and you can see within the yellow boundary on the map on the right, that's their exploration licence that they would drill these holes. And they were drilled in 2007, 2008. That's 0.4 of a square kilometre. They couldn't get outside that. We now have 41 square kilometres, includes all that area plus a lot more. And we've got a whole lot of anomalies to follow up. A really exciting possibility to get a really substantial resource of several times a lot more than that. Your drilling also doesn't include a lot of disseminated lower grade mineralisation that just wasn't included, and there's several million tonnes of that. We'll be looking closely at what that adds to the economics as well. So this is a cross section. A is south towards North B. You can see there's the old mine up near A. We're going to do some drilling initially in that area, and then we're going to follow it down dip. We're also going to look at a long trend both to the east and west, and that's a conceptual mine plan. The old mine had three shafts in it. We'll clean those out, and it's a project that's can fast track to development. I might add to get drilling permits in this area is easy. 6 weeks it took us to get drilling permits for both A and B, and some of the other projects that I'll talk about in a few minutes. But the ease of exploration development in this area is fantastic because the mining community and everybody wants to see a new mine developed, so it's really quite fantastic. So this is a plan showing in the red block where the resources. Now we have a much bigger exploration licence, covers all of this area plus a bit more, and that's a 6 kilometre trend. These are EM anomalies that are covered by a thin veneer of glacial sediments. There's no outcrop, very little outcrop, so these weren't picked up by old-time prospectors, and no very, very little exploration done on here. I think there's a couple of drill holes that were looking for copper, didn't find copper, and that's it. So we'll be drilling these targets. Fantastic opportunity to add on to Lainejaur. And these things occur in clusters, as you've seen from some of the other speakers. You don't get one of these things on their own. There's a number of them, so we're excited about that. So my chairman told me to talk about the Vostok because that's our second cab off the rank, if you like. We'll be drilling this. We've got drilling approvals in place. But the importance of this is it's a massive sulphide. You can see the little pictorial down there in the centre. The red is massive nickel sulphide. The scale on that is 10 to 15 metres below the surface. It's not laterite. These are high-grade, 2.5% nickel. It's open-ended, and we'll come in with a shallow rig in the next couple of months, and we'll drill a whole pattern of holes, and we'll find an extension to this. It's open-ended. So far, it's got lots and noodles of deeper potential. It occurs in a peridotite, dunite, gabbro sequence, not too different from Lainejaur. It's 60 kilometres by a seal road from Lainejaur. It's right next to the surface. You can drive your Tesla there like you can at Lainejaur. So it's a fantastic opportunity to extend and maybe a standalone operation. It just hasn't been followed up. These drill holes were drilled in the 70s, again by Boliden. Boliden are historically a copper base metal mining. They weren't really interested in nickel, so when they did their exploration for copper and found some of these nickel hits, they really glossed over them. They put them in the too hard basket, and we found them. So we're on a pretty exciting thing. Here are our targets. We've got Lainejaur on the southern part of the map, the Vostok on the west side of the map there, and what we call the quad properties, which all have high-grade nickel. This is a province that has been completely overlooked. They're mostly high-grade cobalt as well. In many cases, the PGEs just haven't been assayed. So we have these all secure, 100% us, and we have programs really ready to go on these already. We're planning to fly SkyTM over all our ground, and that's in planning stages now. So as soon as we list early next year, we'll have that data as well. That'll be invaluable. Notrask is one of our quad group. This is a a magnetics map. The scale of that anomaly is about 10 kilometres in the northeast direction. And what I've put there is Kivitsa. Kivitsa is in northern Finland. It's a large resource, as you can see. Same scale here and the same magnetic signature, very, very similar. This has not been tested. On this map, you can see the little gold stars there. They're outcrops of massive sulphides. And I'll just go, this is the outcrop, one of the outcrops, one of the numerous outcrops. You're looking at over 1% nickel sitting at surface. This is actually a road cut through a thin veneer of the sediment. So it's clearly a much larger layered system that just hasn't been tested. The deepest hole in this is 150 metres. And these anomalies at surface, these prospects at surface, there's only a handful of holes, and most of them intersect high-grade nickel or disseminated nickel. Very exciting prospect here, and we'll be looking very closely at this next year, drilling it and drilling some of these targets. Very exciting, high nickel, near-surface targets that will supplement anything we have at Lainejaur and part of really an unexplored nickel terrain. Skogstrask, again, a handful of drill holes. Pretty well all of them went through nickel at over 0.5% nickel in considerable intervals. And we've got some good EM targets there that we're planning on drill testing into early part of next year. Fiskogtrask, and apologise for the pronunciation. If any of you speak Swedish, it's not pronounced that way at all. There's a very similar geophysical signature to Sakatti, which many of you will know. It's a high-grade deposit in northern Finland, possibly a long trend from this deposit. As you can see, 40-odd million tonnes, a couple of percent copper and 1% nickel, and importantly high in PGEs. But this is just a classic untested Sakatti type target, and already we have some drill holes into this with some good information on it. Ni-Co-Cu-PGE, again, the picture down there is actually not is massive sulphides that occur at Nitras, not Ni-Co-Cu-PGE. But this has actually got 12 holes gone through some good grade nickel and copper, large disseminated mineralisation. I'm not allowed to talk about the resource because it's not a resource, it's not JORC compliant or 43101 compliant, so I can't talk about that. But of course, as soon as we get some holes into it, we will be able to. So that's pretty exciting. Strategic value, fantastic. Location, it's within the European Union. You can see here the blue labels. You won't be able to read them all. They're the active mines at the moment. Our red dots there, or red stars, are our projects, and the southern one being Lainejaur. You can see where the right beside us, the Geological Survey, SGU, have their main base. They provide their facilities for us. So we can log our core and sample our core there. It's a fantastic opportunity for logistics, all the roads, the networks, the ports, and of course to the north of us, the underground iron mines there provide European Union, 95% of the European steel. So they're right on top of that. But we're on the verge of North America. Oopsie, I've gone too far. We're right on the edge of the development of new gigafactories, your lithium-ion battery gigafactories. Already on the coast there, you'll see at Northvolt, they have developed and built a factory, $1 billion plus factory that's now producing lithium-ion batteries. Those guys contacted me and said, when are you guys going to be producing? We'd really like to pick up on some of your product. And we've already had plans from Volkswagen, who are going to build a gigafactory just to the south of this map. Again, within this mining district, they'll be looking for feed in a few years when that gets up and running. And to the south within Europe, there's something like 30 plus gigafactories planned or in construction. And many of those are going to be coming on stream in 26, 27, 28. We're getting a lot of interest from those guys. There's no nickel production or cobalt production from the European Union. Most of it comes in from Russia. Well, that's not going to happen in the next few years, probably. A little bit comes in from Finland, but the bulk of it comes in from Asia or Africa. what the European Union are doing, are putting on a carbon tax. So all of those imports in a year or two are going to be taxed. We'll be producing by then, hopefully, in the European Union. I might add that people ask, what's the permitting like in Sweden? It's actually, for us, it's fantastic. We get our drill permits in 5 to 6 weeks. I think some of the speakers here are talking months in Western Australia and probably years in New South Wales just to get a drilling permit. So we've got everything going for us in Sweden. The mining legislation is fantastic. The area is fantastic, namely because it's a mining area and people want to see new mines, new work, and new prospect for their kids and families. Thank you very much.